Hello, and you are listening to episode 95 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Dr. Todd Sinett.
My dad's diet, which was upsetting his stomach or his digestive system, which was then reflexing and affecting his back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hand, and welcome to the Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we dive into what makes an awesome lifestyle. From relationships to money mindset, nutrition to fitness, emotional health to peak performance, we bring you on an amazing journey to unleashing your human potential. So here's a little bit about our guest today, Dr. Todd Sinett. He is a chiropractor and also a pain expert. In his best-selling series of books, including 3 Weeks to a Better Back, he has introduced the Sinett Solution, the practice of listening to the whole body and treating all sources of back pain on the structural, digestive, and emotional levels, what he calls the triad of health. He is a recognized authority in applied kinesiology and has served as a clinical expert from TV programs including The View, FoxMD, and Good Day New York. Dr. Sinett has been a lecturer on MSNBC and a Learning Annex and has been featured in countless health and fitness publications. So here is Dr. Sinett. All right, everybody, in the locker room today, we've got Dr. Todd Sinett. We're just going to be very cool and hang out here. We're going to be Todd and Josh, maybe like a radio show we have in New York. I think it's what used to be Scott and Todd or something like that. But we have this awesome doctor. He's a chiropractor, an author. He's got some really neat information I think you're really going to enjoy today. We're going to touch on nutrition. We're going to touch on your body. We're going to touch on all different things. So, Todd, welcome.
Josh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm very excited to have you here, a fellow second-generation chiropractor. I don't get to talk to too many of those. I think it's really neat.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to, it's amazing to keep it all in the family.
Exactly. So let's jump into your story, because we're not here to actually talk directly about, chiropractic. We're going to touch base back and forth on it, I'm sure, through the call. But we're going to be talking about, you have a new book out that's getting some exciting news. When we found each other, I was like, wow, this is pretty neat topic. 3 Weeks to a Better Back, and it's a lot of nutrition, a lot of lifestyle, which I absolutely love. I love lifestyle. That's why, hence, I'm Lifestyle Locker. So, give us a story. Like, what made you jump into becoming an author? I mean, this is really neat.
Yeah, well, as a second-generation chiropractor, we do a lot of talking to our patients and educating our patients. And I just, quite frankly, felt that I could help a lot more people by kind of sharing my story with as many people as possible. So I'm very happy to, reveal the back pain relief diet book to as many people as possible.
Yeah, very cool. So talk to us. How did this book come to? Because people are thinking like back pain relief diet, like that. What is that? That's something I never even thought of even thinking of. So
I guess the origin of the story is actually started in about 1975 when I was about 5 years old. My father had been a chiropractor at that point for about, I don't know. And one day he bent down to pick up a tennis ball and his back went out. And he was a chiropractor at the time and his back went out. So he searched for some answers to his back pain. So he saw chiropractors, physical therapists. His back pain was so bad that he was bedridden for 9 months. Wow. They wanted to do exploratory surgery on him, which is never a good idea, to basically cut him open and see if they can find anything. And again, nobody can help him. They were treating him every known possible treatment you can think of he went for. And he was bedridden with severe back pain for 9 months. As a kid, I remember him lying in bed when friends were coming over, and that was my dad. He was stuck in bed as a chiropractor. And he wound up seeing this doctor with the fortuitous name of Dr. Goodhart, who was asking very different questions when he examined my father. He asked my father, well, why is he having these back spasms? And his theory was that my father was really very structurally healthy and very sound, and saying that the action of him bending down to pick something up shouldn't have created this traumatic structural event. And then he was asking my father about his diet. And then he also started poking around in my dad's digestive system. And back then, if you were thin, the belief was you were wanted. And my father grew up on a lifestyle of lots of different sugar and caffeine. So we'd have dessert after every meal and sodas and all that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, Dr. Goodhart's theory was it was my dad's diet which was upsetting his stomach or his digestive system, which was then reflexing and affecting his back. So essentially, Dr. Goodhart said that we are what we eat, and what we're eating and how your digestive system is functioning is impacting your muscular function or your back. And I can tell you that no one was more disbelieving than my dad, being that he was a chiropractor for 15 years at the time and had never heard of anything like this.
Yeah.
But the two choices he was left with was either try exploratory surgery or change your diet. So my dad changed his diet. He listened to Dr. Goodhart, and within 2 weeks, he was 100% cured. And that was the beginning of the origins of the linkage between how diet can impact your back pain.
Yeah.
He then went on to help lots of different people, and then I actually joined him in practice, espousing the virtues of the different causes and the different solutions of back pain. But I felt like this message hasn't gotten out enough, the linkage between diet and back pain. So I decided to write a whole book on it, and I'm here to tell as many people that listen that your back pain could absolutely be caused by your diet and your digestive system, and subsequently can absolutely be caused or fixed by a change in your diet or a change in your digestive system.
Yeah, it's really neat. And, myself being in practice and seeing patients with all sorts of things from, athletes that just going for performance to people that are coming in, they're bent over and they don't know why, and aggravating pain. And when we recommend people, we start to talk to people about food, they're like, well, what does that have to do with anything?
Yes.
It's like, I'm thin, but it's okay. McDonald's. I mean, look at me. I'm good.
Or you even have the people who sit there and say how healthy they're eating, and they may be doing healthy choices, but they're still suffering from back pain caused by their diet, which is odd enough.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I'm here to say that anything that can upset the digestive system can upset the muscular system.
Okay.
So, I'm a big believer that one of the main factors of back pain is inflammation.
Yes,
right?
Agreed.
So inflammation comes in different sources. So it'll come from structural sources. So our backs can get inflamed from sitting at our desk, hunched over our desk for too long. They could become from lifting something too heavy, right? So everyone would agree upon that.
Yeah.
Also, emotions and stress can create inflammation. Stanford University found that emotions is the number one factor, or stress is the number one factor for back pain. So I'm also here to tell you that digestion and diet can absolutely create inflammation. There are certain foods that trigger more inflammation in the body that can create back pain.
Yeah.
So again, patients will be disbelieving, right? They don't see the linkage. And I'll sit there and say, okay, so if you have terrible back pain, what frequently will a doctor prescribe for you in medication to help you feel better? And they'll say anti-inflammatories. And I'll say, correct. And then I'll sit there and say, well, if we gave you a diet that was anti-inflammatory in nature, couldn't it have the same impact, or could it have impact? And they'll go, oh, I never thought about that. And then I'll sit there and say, well, Olympic athletes, right? They're very particular in the foods that they're eating and how they're training because they believe that the right diet makes them strong and fit and healthy, correct? And they'll say yes. And I'll sit there and say, well, then the converse is also true, right? So if you're eating a diet that's not particularly healthy, it's going to negatively impact your muscles. Or I'll then sit there and tell somebody, well, have you ever been hungover? If you've known anybody who's hungover, how are you feeling, right? How are the muscles feeling? And they'll say tight, achy, stiff. And that's just an indication of how what we eat and drink absolutely can affect our muscular system.
Yeah, I mean, it's really neat. It's connecting some of the dots is really important because, I mean, you just said, was it Dr. Goodhart said, like, we are what we eat.
Yeah.
And I mean, that term is nothing new, but I don't know why as a human society, like around the world, like why we don't understand that or say, okay, I get it, and let's do something about it.
I mean, something that I'm describing that I would describe as very much common sense can be so odd or revolutionary or countercultural. I don't know why that is. It's everything is interrelated within the body. We have this major problem in the world of back pain. I mean, it's a huge health epidemic. 20% of the world is currently suffering from it. 85% of the world will suffer from back pain. It's the number one reason for job disability. And the reason why we have these stats is not because back pain is an inevitability. It's because we're blowing it. You and I, as doctors, we're blowing it because we're not looking at all the true causes, true diagnosis, and true solutions to back pain. So I'm trying to bring essentially 33% of the information to the equation, or to the public, to the forefront, that your diet can very much be causing your back pain.
Yeah, so that's it. So the diet, like when you're saying it affects the muscles, and I also want to plug in there, with the nervous system, if you're inflaming the muscles, you're affecting the central nervous system. So you have like this catch-22. The body's now going to not respond well, and it's just going to keep like this bad loop from toxins in, and it's just going to respond out, right?
Of course, and I'm not just talking about. When I say back pain, I'm talking neck pain, shoulder pain, leg pain, hamstring pain, foot pain, but also your back pain. For my dad, right, his pain levels were at 12 out of 10. He was bedridden, completely flat on his back. Or you could just be always feeling kind of tight, achy, stiff, and always feel like your back is never fully stable. Regardless of the severity of your symptoms of your back pain, your diet could be the cause of it, and your diet could be the solution of it.
Yeah, So what are foods? Let's go into like what are some of the foods that people are eating that are actually creating some of the problems? Are there specific foods? Are there specific types of foods? Or are there things that people want to say like, holy cow, I can't believe I'm eating that almost every single day?
Yeah, I would say that for the vast majority, let's put it the 75% of back pain sufferers where it's diet related. It's the things that wouldn't necessarily surprise you. So it's the sugars, the simple sugars, the caffeine, the alcohols, the simple carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. It's the sodas, the desserts, the pastas, the cookies, the cakes. So, for those types of people, I created a diet which we call the No More Back Pain Diet, or the Paleo Plus diet. And all we do is we eliminate all the simple carbohydrates, the simple sugars, the caffeines, and kind of detox the body or de-inflame the body off that. But surprisingly so, I'm seeing it more and more and more. I don't know whether it's 25, 35%, whereas people are eating healthy foods that are still very much inflammatory in nature, or there are foods that are upsetting their digestive system. So too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So I'm seeing people having a lot of green drinks, a lot of protein bars, these large salads, too much fiber. I'm seeing a lot in club soda or sparkling water, which is creating gas in the digestive system. So you really want to be very careful if people are having the same foods over and over again, or repeatable foods. So those are some of the other surprising types of foods.
So, and the people, like, let's just go, like, because I know people or patients and friends and people I associate with, we'll go to a conference or I'll be at work and people will roll in with an egg sandwich, or they'll roll into a conference with a 37-ounce coffee and a bagel with butter. They're just starting their day off like creating hell. Right?
That's going to elevate the cortisol levels. When your cortisol levels are elevated, your body's more inflamed. When your body's more inflamed, you're more apt to bend to pick up something and your back to go out.
Yeah.
You're more apt to sleep funny on a pillow, and all of a sudden your neck goes out. The only thing random in the body is trauma, such as falling off a bike or getting into a motor vehicle accident. Otherwise, all of these things are building little by little by little. It's essentially compound interest not working in people's favors. Mm-hmm. So these things didn't come out of the blue. This was predictable. And a lot of it is because our diets are bringing so much inflammation and irritation.
Yeah. So are there foods that someone can eat daily? I know you're talking about repetition as well, but are there foods that you think that people can eat daily that are going to, help slowly deflame, if you will, their body, or is everybody a little different?
I would say that everyone's a little different. I mean, I will sit there and say soda and sparkling waters and caffeine and alcohol and there are some of the main triggers, but there is a thing that everyone is different. So some people can handle gluten, some people can't. Some people are dairy sensitive, some people can't. So in the book, I think the first step is, once I've convinced the reader that this is possible, I'm going to have them take the digestive inflammation test. And that test is basically me sitting in front of them and asking them a series of questions to see if we think that their back pain is caused by their digestive system or their diet. And then once we think either yes, it's being caused by your diet, or no, it's not being caused by your diet, then we have our next steps. So let's say the digestive inflammation test, and that's going to ask a series of questions of, have you been taking any medications recently? Have you been drinking a lot of alcohol recently? Did you change up your vitamin routine? Have you been having a lot of salads? You're having a lot of sugars? Just a series of questions to figure out if your body is caused, or you've been constipated. Do you have diarrhea? Have you had a stomach virus? Have you been bloated? Are you feeling gassy? All those types of questions are going to tell us if we think your back pain is diet related. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give you something called the diagnostic nutrition test. And that's going to steer the clients or the patient to specific diets that we think are going to cut down on the inflammation, irritation, help them with their back pain. So for people who are having a lot of unhealthy foods, a lot of sugars, caffeines, and alcohols, we have something called the No More Back Pain Diet or the Paleo Plus Meal Plan. And those two diets basically eliminate the sugars, the caffeines, the alcohol, the simple carbohydrates to cut down on the digestive inflammation and the back pain. Or we also have a diet that we call the FODMAPs diet, which is it's specific carbohydrates that people could be sensitive to. And it's very frequent for people who have irritable bowel syndrome. And it's a whole bunch of specific carbohydrates for specific foods. And then there's another diet we call it the digestive rest diet. And that's for people who are having essentially too much of a healthy thing too frequently.
Like too much salad or kale or something like that.
Yep. Too much roughage, too much salad, too much fiber, too many protein bars, too many green drinks. And we're going to calm down their digestive system this way. So it's pretty much predicated on if we think your diet is creating your back pain, and then what is the right diet approach to kind of cut down on this inflammation, irritation specific to that particular individual. And the great thing is it's the simplest thing to change. You're going to know your answers within 3 weeks, and it can be life-changing. It was literally life-changing for my father. It was literally life-changing for my entire family. I mean, my father went from not being able to get out of bed to playing tennis within 3 weeks. And it's really, really important. You know, the reason our treatments are being unsuccessful is because we're not looking at this as an option. So I really urge any person or patient who's suffering from back pain, who's considering some invasive type of treatment, please rule out diet as the cause and the solution before you undergo any dangerous invasive treatments.
Yeah, that's great. You know, look at lifestyle first before you go anywhere else. Why would anybody purposely want to get cut?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing they teach us at school is what? First, do no harm.
Yeah.
Right? And I always recommend you want to do the most least invasive things or options first. And then as you continue to go, then you go down the paradigm and then you do more and more invasive things. But I'm giving my patients, your listeners, my readers, the least invasive option possible. Change what you're eating and drinking and see if it makes a difference.
Yeah. And so what do you think about, so if people are going to change their diets, what do you think about like cleanses, things like that, like colonics, all these, there's a lot of like fad things that are out there.
Yeah. Well, first off, our body already has its own cleansing system, and that's called bowel movements, right?
Yeah.
So if you're having a good quality and good healthy bowel movement, chances are your body is not toxic to begin with. So you want to start listening to your body, because a good quality bowel movement equals good digestive health, and good digestive health very often will lead to good back health. So I think that's really important. The colonics can be super helpful, but you want to use that as a last-ditch effort, because you want to you want to keep it simple and be straightforward and change what you're eating and drinking first and see how that applies.
All right, fair enough. What else can we say? Because this is important for people, because and your back pain, we're talking about like just like being sore and achy.
Yeah.
If you're not a professional athlete and you're listening, if you're like an athletic person or an active person that's constantly using their body as a tool, whether it be for like going to CrossFit or going for a run, your fuel is going to either help you heal faster, heal slower, or create more problems down the road. So this book, is going to be something that's going to be useful whether you're directly in, we'll say just direct back pain, but if you're also using your body in a very active way, this is going to be a great tool for you, which may help you tailor your diet so you can heal faster and respond better as an athlete, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I have a series of different principles that I would love to run through.
Yeah, go for it.
So again, regardless of your diet, whether your diet's healthy or unhealthy, it can be the cause of your back pain. I would say regardless of your symptoms, diagnosis or severity, whether you've been diagnosed with a herniated disc, whether you've been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, whether you've been diagnosed with spinal stenosis, your back pain could be solved by a change in your diet. you have to realize that the doctors don't know about the role that diet plays. There's no diagnosis of digestive inflammation syndrome, so they're giving you a diagnosis only based off these structural properties that may not be causing your problem. So just because you're diagnosed with degenerative disc disease or disc herniation, that does not mean that the diet is not the cause and subsequently the solution of your back pain. Again, you're going to know your answers in 3 or 4 weeks, so we're not asking for a lot of time here. I also want to say that most of the times that back pain, the cause of your back pain is more multifactored than you would think. Very rarely is it just one thing, but it's a combination of things. So in my opinion, you want to solve back pain issues. You want to make sure you have structural balance. So a chiropractor, physical therapy, massage therapy, some stretches, that should correct it. Emotions and stress are the number one factor, and then diet as well. So diet is that factor. And then just because a food is deemed healthy, that doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. So for me, I actually decided I was going to go on a health kick and ate oatmeal every day for 5 days for breakfast. And by that 4th or 5th day, I was as bloated and gassy and constipated and achy as could be, just because oatmeal was just too much for my system. So you really want to listen to your body, see what it's telling you, see what you digest well and not. Too much of a good thing is not a good thing. You want to eat everything in variety, and that anything that can create digestive upset can create back pain. And I really want to urge people to have variety in their diet. So eating the same breakfast over and over again is not particularly healthy, even if it's egg whites or oatmeal. So you want to have 3 different types of breakfast, 3 different types of lunches, 3 different types of dinners. And then I also want to just kind of open people's eyes on the link between our emotions and our stress and our digestive system. So if we're eating a hot fudge sundae when we're celebrating, it's a very different digestive process than eating a hot fudge sundae if we're depressed. Or if we go away on vacation, we can go wildly off our diet and still feel well. But if we did that in our regular environment, it would bother us very much. And the difference is our emotional state when we're eating these foods, our emotional attachments to these foods. So you really want to be eating with joy and without regret as well. So it's just a very exciting thing to be able to share with as many people as possible, because it can make a major difference in their quality of life.
Yeah, so you mentioned variety of food. So variety, is that more, I heard this with like I have a dog, and they say like keeping a dog on the same food for his whole life, or the same, with the same meat, can actually be very disruptive to the animal's health. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the premise is that if we keep eating the same foods over and over again, we're giving the exact same nutrients, we're digesting the body is secreting the same exact digestive nutrients, the same secretions to the same volume to the whole system over and over and over again. And when you mix up your diet, you're varying that. So you're giving the secretions, you're giving the location, you're giving a lot of different things throughout the body time to repair, regenerate, and reverse. There's a difference if you're eating broccoli compared to eating string beans or asparagus. All these different foods have different nutrients, different combinations, different fiber, and it's important to mix it up.
Yeah, that's really neat, because it's funny that I've heard this in the past with animals, but like the same concept. We're an animal as well. So, creating healthy stressors, if you will, in our lives with different foods are incredibly good for you. I'm not saying not saying, listen, we should try Snickers and we can go to a Milky Way, then we can go to something else.
Yep.
It's got to be something proactive, and if you keep doing that, you may find, through your program, you'll be able to find the foods that are going to help your digestion. They're going to help your body feel better and function better, because if we're feeling better and functioning better, your life is going to be better, period.
Yeah, and just everyone's unique. Just because a food is deemed a superfood or healthy doesn't mean it's healthy for you.
Yeah, that's true. So how do people connect with you?
So they can go to my website at drsinett.com. That's SINETT.
Yeah.
My book, the Back Pain Relief Diet book, is going to be available on Amazon. And it's just, again, a pleasure to be on your podcast, and it's a pleasure to be able to share this with as many people as possible.
Yeah. So everybody, we're gonna have all the details in the show notes. We're gonna give you direct link to his website, and we'll also, when his book is live on Amazon, we'll share that link as well with everybody, so you can jump in, get it, and and read it, and make some positive, proactive changes in your health and your eating program and your eating style, if you will, because one, it'll get you out of pain, and two, you may actually get healthy as a result of it. Right? That's the big picture down the road. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to go on the Lifestyle Locker to espouse the virtues of trying to change change your lifestyle, because it can really make a big difference.
Yeah, and at Lifestyle Locker, we want people to have have their human performance, have it unleashed, so you can actually just be the absolute best you possibly can. I know it sounds cheesy, but you know what? We're gonna live a long time whether we want to or not. So let's choose the right foods. Let's eat the right things. And let's stay healthy and hopefully out of pain, please, people. All right? So, Dr. Todd, I want to thank you so much. This was an actual awesome interview, and I can't wait to connect people to this book. And it's cool that he's another guy in New York that I get to see here now, too. This is great. We get to connect. So, thank you so much.
Thank you again. Have a great day, guys.
Hey there, Locker Nation. I hope all of you enjoyed that episode of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Dr. Todd Sinett. Make sure you go out and get his book, The Back Pain Relief Diet, which is available on Amazon.com. We are going to drop the link in the show notes for you if you haven't found it already and bought it. And make sure you do connect with him. We're going to share all his details there. So on social media, his website, and of course, his other books on Amazon.com as well. So for all of you that are out there that are uncomfortable, get these books. Get the Back Pain Relief Diet book. And lastly, one more thing. If you've been liking these shows, make sure you go ahead and head over to iTunes or wherever you're listening to them and give us a 5-star review. It makes a huge difference. And if there's an episode you love, share it with someone. And also let me know, because we want to make sure we keep bringing you the best of the best. And we want to make sure that you're constantly improving your health, your well-being, and unleashing your human potential. And this show here was brought to you by the 45-day Lifestyle Locker Endurance Challenge. And you can head over and find out more about that at lifestylelocker.com/45DEC. That's again, lifestylelocker.com/45DEC. All right, y'all, have a great day, evening, night. See you on the next episode. Bye-bye.